All right, homies, welcome back to the number one trusted first-time homebuyer system in the United States, broken down into 10 simple steps. We're laying the foundation for buying a home the right way and educating you to be able to identify the factors that are going to be unique to you in your own personal home buying process. It's time to get the details on your first step. You ready? Let's do this.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the number one resource for first-time homebuyers.
What's happening, How to Buy a Homies? My name's David Sidoni, and this is the How to Buy a Home podcast. This is step one of getting you the confidence, the clarity, and the information that you need to stop running forever. No time to waste. Let's get at it. For those of you tensing up because you just gotta have all 10 steps first, you are very, very welcome here. As it turns out, you and I have something in common. So relax, breathe a little bit, and rest assured, you're gonna get all you need and more. It's all good. I got you. And if you just can't wait until step 2 drops, you can always go to the episode guide in the show notes, and there you're gonna find 6 years worth of topics and titles on everything and anything that first-time homebuyers need to know. And look, I'm not mad at you for wanting to cut through all the BS and get all 10 steps. I started this because I empathize with you. For decades, first-time homebuyers have been handed mostly a steaming pile of confusing and unhelpful garbage. So once and for all, I'm going to go ahead and give you the 10 steps right now. The things that every first-time homebuyer must do first to maximize their home buying process and to avoid becoming another one of those horror stories. So step 1 is decide. By the way, steps 2 through 10, they don't mean a damn thing if you don't grasp step 1. Step 2 will be to get your guides. Step 3 is credit score. Step 4, managing your debt. Step 5 is figuring out your savings. Step 6 is clarifying your goals. Step 7 is to learn the terms and the definitions in real estate. Step 8 is to do your online research. Step 9 is to practice adulting by practicing your new mortgage payment before you ever write a contract. And step 10, know the current market and the current, correct, and best way to write your offer, negotiate your offer, and buy a home. That's the process. It's a plan laid out with sequential steps for you to follow. So for example, look at step 10, the last step, negotiating the offer on the home that you want to buy. You can't get there without the strong foundation you're going to learn from steps 1 through 9 and by doing those steps in order. I know you might feel the urge to skip ahead or jump around in the order of the steps. Help me out here, fight that urge, and I guarantee you better results. As a 24/7, 365 dedicated first-time homebuyer coach since 2019, with over a decade of helping first-time homebuyers before that, this system, it's got a track record. It's proven. And here's the exciting fact about it. There's a really good chance that you could be a lot closer than you think. And I have the data to back it up. In the 6 years here at How to Buy a Home, 72% of the people who reach out to us and say, you know what, I'm ready to go. I think I'm about a year or 18 months away from buying a home. When they follow the system with the right guidance, 72% of those people thinking they were 12 to 18 months away are under contract in 3.2 months. The facts don't lie. Most people aren't getting the information, which means they wait too long to go out and get the expertise to help tell them where they actually are in the process. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do a little side note tangent before I get into step 1. So why is that the case? Why is there so much fear and misinformation about what's possible for first-time homebuyers, especially here in 2025 and going into 2026? In this post-pandemic era, many people who want to buy a home have been completely frozen in fear, in paralysis by analysis, and they wait way longer than they need to start their planning. And when they finally do get around to asking someone if they've got the means to pull off buying a home, most of the so-called professionals they find online, they're part of what I like to call big mortgage. Big mortgage plays the sales numbers game. They advertise to everyone in an attempt to find only the immediate ready-to-buy customers. So when it comes to helping anybody build a plan, they're not equipped. They're not specialized for that. Nor do they even want to help you build a plan with clear steps that you can follow so someday you can buy a home. To them, you're a number. And if you can't buy a home next week, they pretty much just tell you, well, save money and call me back in 6 months. You were looking for a roadmap and they gave you a stop sign. But hey, you're here. You got me in your ear holes. You want to do this, and your when may be far less more important than you starting your preparation right now for your how. All right, tangent over, preamble done. Let's do step one. But I have to warn you, it might shock you. Remember, the mission here is to educate and empower so you can do this right. You heard me when I said it. Step one is decide. And yes, you did hear that correctly. Decide. Change your mindset, and that's going to change your desire to create the right plan. And then you're going to execute a bazillion times better. Step one is you simply have to decide that you want to do this, that you should do this, and most importantly, that you can do this. There are 1,000 incorrect and unfounded fears that are going to stop you from starting the journey if you believe them. So what we do here is we get you the right information, we help eliminate your fears, and we let you hear from other people how they actually bought a home. There are over 100 interviews here on how to buy a home to help crush all your fears. And once you decide, that's it. That's step one. And the rest will follow. So get whatever information you need to come into this with the most open mind possible. Understand that you haven't been given all the information. And what we're trying to do is help you gain the confidence and the clarity to know you can do this. Know that. Believe that. And know this, no matter when it's right for you personally to buy a home, today, heck, yesterday was the right day to start planning for you so you can get the best results when you actually pull this off. After years of coaching tens of thousands of buyers, I can tell you that if you want to do this in the best way possible and even discover ways to do this that you thought were impossible, step one is to decide that you can. Now, for the rest of this episode, I'm going to give you some nuggets that are going to help you decide if you can do this. Like I said, there's over 100 stories from real people just like you who were once here convincing themselves they needed to decide to do this. You can check the episode guide in the show notes to find the interview stories. They're as inspirational as they are educational. All right, and here's the first nugget. Buying a home when the mortgage is more than your rent is not taking on a new expense. Too many people are seeing it wrong. They're looking at the math incorrectly. If you look at rent versus mortgage and the mortgage is $800 more than your rent, renting is not $800 cheaper. The math that isn't being explained well enough to people is that you have to subtract all of your rent, but you get to add when you're paying a mortgage payment with the same money that you've been subtracting for years, your rent. Buying a home is using the money you already pay every month in a wealth building vehicle. It's not some brand new $800 expense to get a better form of shelter. Owning a home is a rent replacement strategy. A future mortgage payment uses all the money from your shelter payment, and it pays for that shelter, but it also adds. It immediately goes into a forced savings account to secure your financial future. It's not paying some money more for a better asset. It's putting money that you aren't using currently into a historically appreciating, safe, stable, and wealth-building asset. For most of you, your rent right now is high, and it's still going up. Every year, you're paying tens of thousands of dollars to someone else, and you could be paying yourself. And here's a bonus. A home mortgage, that's a fixed monthly payment, and it's not going up like rent does. So every year you own a home, your rent would have been going up, but now you actually get more money for you with that fixed payment. Your shelter payment now is going to be in one place forever, and you never have to worry about what happens if I can't afford this place anymore. So getting that math, that's a big one for step one, deciding. This is about mindset and confidence. If you believe in the financial mathematical theory, that's going to make deciding so much easier. This is using what you already pay out now to get more later. And you're finally putting to work your biggest monthly expense that you already pay as a renter. Now, I spent 20 years listening to the hopes, the dreams, and the fears of first-time homebuyers, and I know how critical the mindset shift of deciding is so that homeowners can start accumulating wealth so much sooner than they think they could. So 3 years ago, I released these 10 steps. And then just recently, I dropped the playbook, which breaks down the details of the rent replacement strategy and the last lease ever program. So step one has some homework for you to help you fully get on board with the mental shift it takes to have a decided mindset. Before you jump into step two, listen to the playbook episodes. That's episodes 388 and 389. Once you do that, you're going to see the formula, the math, all the steps clearly laid out, and you can confidently know that you've got your own clear path for you to reach your personal individual goal. As you listen to all the education here, you're going to notice that you are hearing the words confident or clear or clarity quite a bit as you go through these 10 steps. Now, that's totally intentional. These steps are designed to build your knowledge base and crush the confusion. Next nugget. Maybe some of you are out there thinking, dude, well, how do I decide to buy a home if I've got no clue what I can afford? Hey, you're here. You've expressed a desire to do this. So shift your mindset from can I buy a home? And we want to shift to how do I plan to do it? And how do you do that? Well, notice that the first step in these 10 steps does not include getting a pre-approval for a loan. Go online right now. Go ahead. 99% of every list out there for first-time home buyers on how to buy a home, it's going to say, step 1, go out and get a pre-approval. Find out where you stand. The lists that say that, they're not trying to serve you. They're checking to see if you fit in their numbers game for their profits. Big mortgage trying to capture you. They just want to see if they can make money off you right now. And you'll also see step 1 isn't pick a realtor or make sure you get a lender and a pre-approval, because that's step 2. Step 1 is crucial, and it's something that big real estate isn't telling you. Homies, what you're getting here is big, fatty insider tips. Once you decide, then you can go to step 2 and you can get your team. And what's cool is you're going to find out that you actually can get a team way, way earlier than you think that you should. Because the good ones don't see you as a sales number. They see you as a person who needs a plan, no matter what your timeline is. You don't have to do this on your own. We'll get more into that on step 2. Next nugget for helping you decide. This one is, well, it's pretty much like a public service announcement for everyone out there that I call the waiters. Not the people bringing me my chicken sandwich, but the people pausing their planning and waiting. They're waiting to see if there's going to be a drop in prices or a drop in interest rates so they can finally get the affordability that they want. I empathize with you. I wish that was coming for you. And I got to tell you, when I see it coming on the horizon, I will be screaming from the mountaintops telling you about it. But if you want to hear the actual data of what's going on and what's happening with the rise and not fall of the current housing market, I've got dozens of market episodes filled with numbers, facts, statistics, and data. It's all the predictions and the forecasts for the housing market over the last 6 years, and they've all been right. And if you're looking for the recent data, you can go to episode 382, 383, and 384. The crucial market shift that just happened here at the end of the summer in 2025. So if you need to be reassured about this is a great thing that's going to help you decide. Go there. And the last thing I'll say about the waiters, remember, if you start planning, you have no obligation to buy. It's just planning. So why wouldn't you start a plan today? I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? You get yourself an organized budget, you get control over your credit score and your debt, and you have some savings. And then you don't have to buy if you don't want to. But if you'd worked a plan, wouldn't you be in a better position to take advantage of anything that happens in the economy, up or down? So when it comes to figuring out when you should start planning, here's a little myth buster nugget for you. Deciding that you want to buy a home, once you do that, that gives you permission to seek the action steps that you can do today to build your plan, no matter where you are in the process. Too many people think they need to check their pre-approval status first to get permission, and then they can start their plans. I'm telling you, the exact opposite is true. You've got permission to start today. I assume you're a person of action because you got me in your ear holes right now as you wash the dishes or work out or do your laundry or commute to work. And the irony is, for many of you, I'm in your ears right now, and the first step to home ownership actually happens right between your ears. So the next nugget is helping you understand that the fear of moving forward is a simple lack of correct information. You're just ignorant. And ignorant is not a dirty word here. We use the literal term at How to Buy a Home. Ignorant means you just don't know what you don't know. Understanding all the possibilities is going to give you so much confidence, and that's the key to your success. Remember the big mistake that I've seen for almost 2 decades of coaching first-time homebuyers. They told me, I listened to them, and when they bought a house, they said, dude, man, Now that I understand and I've got all the proper information, I could have done this so much earlier, Sidoni. A lot of the information to do that is in those playbook episodes I told you about, your homework. The links are in the show notes. You're going to get your numbers, real facts to help you set your goals. And you can start right now to get to where you want to go. Forget what you've heard. The proof is in the pudding with all those interview episodes. There are so many myths and so much negative information out there, especially here in late 2025, about all the things that you can't do. But I'm telling you, the myths are wrong, and you can check the records right here. And look, if you're one of those crazy skeptics out there, I actually kind of understand you, especially now in 2025. I know why you might be skeptical. There's so much noise out there about how the American dream is over and, younger generations are never going to be able to buy a home. So that's why my first step isn't get a pre-approval. I don't want to give you a red light or a green light. I want to give you a starting line. And then it's up to you. You can decide to move forward or not. It's just a plan. Plans can't hurt you. It doesn't matter if you're renting right now for $750 a month, you've only got $1,000 in your savings account. Or if you're renting for $3,800 a month and you've got over $100K saved. The myths out there, they're giving all of you bad information. They're preying on your emotions. And I like to say that my best friend is math, and math is not emotional. Myths and fear, that's emotional. A few years ago, way back when, in episode 164, I did an episode with a chutes and ladders analogy. The old board game Chutes and Ladders. It talks about helping you discover your starting point. If you don't decide that you want to go up the board, you're just going to stay on the same square forever, and you're going to lose money every single day. Or worse, you might, let me see, I don't really know, and then you step on a chute, and you go even further back down the board. So the information's here. I started this passion project not only because I saw the need to uplift a totally ignored group of people, but also because as an unk looking out for the little guy, as I grew into my real estate career, I suddenly realized how much money I'd lost in my own life. Yeah, that sucks. Getting the information so I could help other people and realizing how much I had royally screwed up. I mean, this system comes directly from the math from my own pathetic 1990s rental story. Yeah, I hear you chuckling. I know, 1990s, I'm old. But look, I'm not a boomer. I'm a hardcore Gen Xer to fix what I wish I had done when I was in my 20s. Back then, if someone had bothered to show me the tactics, I would have been wealthy at 30 years old. And straight up, I would have had a way easier life. Changed the entire trajectory of my existence by doing just what I did anyway every month, pay my rent. But no one told me about the rent replacement strategy. It's all there for you, episode 98. It's my story. Tragic tale that turned a dude in his 30s into a massive real estate nerd to make sure no one else made the same mistakes I did. Now, if you feel like you need more details to help you decide, the homework episodes are in the show notes along with the episode guide, and you'll notice how to buy a home leads with free education first. No sales pitch here. I've seen and heard what aspiring first-time homebuyers really want, the confidence and the clarity through getting the information. So to really help you know that you are on your own personal deciding moment, you can, and in fact, you should, go ahead, take some time. For sure, listen to the homework episodes, understand the rent replacement strategy, and you can even find places to understand the math of renting versus buying. And if you want to get really mathematical in that, I just did a detailed episode that is specifically for 2025 rent versus buy numbers, and they'll even go into 2026. That's episode 355. We'll drop that in the show notes. It's up to you how you want to proceed. At the very least, if you made it this far listening to me, before you jump to step 2, listen to the playbook episodes 388 and 389. If you have an immediate question, something that's just burning a hole in your brain, go to howtobuyahome.com. There's a button right there where you can ask David. Fire away. I answer all of them personally. Homies, you're on your way. And step 2 is up next. And that's going to tell you how to pick the right team to be your trusted advocates and help you build that roadmap, no matter where you are. Homies, for most of you, buying a home is not a question of if you can or how can you do this. The answer is yes, and we'll show you how. The only real question is when. You're going to do this. It's just how far down the line. With the right education and information, That answer? It's probably a lot sooner than you think. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyaHome.com to get started.